You want to hack the Flappy Bird game and get a lot of score, and not only just a lot of score but also play the game like really fast, like crazy fast, and get a lot of score with just few lines of Python, then this video is just for you. Before getting into the detail, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Otherwise, grandma will hack a relation with your crush and you would be lonely for the rest of your life. To start with this project, you will definitely need Python installed in your computer, and we would be using a Python code editor called PyCharm. And once this PyCharm is ready, all you need to do is to click on this new project button and give some fancy name to your project. In our case, we would be hacking the Flappy Bird game, and that's why you can name it like a Hack Fluffy or Hack Bird, or if you are crazy, you can give it a name something like What the Hack, something like this, and press enter. It will take literally few seconds for the PyCharm to create a project just for you. This overall projects will have like 6 fun steps to do the all work, but in the first 5 steps, we will build a brand new Flappy Bird game from scratch just using Python and 40 lines of code. And the crazier 6th part, we would be hacking the Flappy Bird game and we'll gain a lot of score and play the game in the blazing fast way, and that would be the fun part. So stick around to the 6th part, but let's start with the game. And once this PyCharm is ready, all you need to do is to press Ctrl A and then backspace and just click on this button so that you have a clean slate. And we will go to our favorite Google uncle to search something for us, and that would be pip pygame. And Google uncle will take us to this website where you will see that pip install pygame. You can just click on this button. It will copy this pip install pygame. And pygame is the most popular Python gaming engine to build crazy fun game using Python, and you would be doing the same fun thing just today with me, and this is a very exciting journey. So I'm coming back to the PyCharm and clicking on this terminal, and I just press Ctrl V and press enter so that PyCharm installs pygame package just for this project. And once this pygame is installed, and all you have to do is to write 6-7 lines of code to have a simple game just for you. And what we will do, the first thing after installing a package, we will be importing that package, and we'll do exactly the same thing, import and then pygame. Once we got the pygame, our first job is to initialize it, and that's why we'll call pygame, hey, you do some initialization. And then think about a game. Game will have a display, and for that display you can declare a variable, something called display equals to pygame.display.setMode. That means you are setting the mode or the size of the display that you'd be playing the game. And inside this you will put another parenthesis. That means you'll be passing a set, and this set will have the width and height of your game display. In our case, we will be using 320 and 568, and why we are doing 568 you will know in a minute. And after that, think about a game. Once you start a game, you became hooked on the game and you would be playing game forever. That means your game would be running forever in a forever while loop. So for that purpose, you will declare the while and you will put true. That means your game would be running forever, and inside it, all you need to do is to call the pygame, and you will tell the pygame, hey, you need to do display update like frequently every iteration. And once you have done this thing, just 5 lines of code, you click on this guy, you will have some kind of dialogue or some kind of display appearing, but it has nothing interesting so far. To make this game fun and interesting, I'd be using 2 amazing images. And if you want to use the same images, then you need to just grab those images from our GitHub. So I'll put the link in the description. So go there and grab those images and give us a star rating in the GitHub. Once I have these 2 images copied, all I need to do is to open this project. So I can just right click on this guy and then open in Explorer, and this should open a Explorer or a folder for us. And once we get there, I just need to paste these 2 images. So now our game doesn't look that much fancy. It looks like some blank images. So we want to put some crazy and interesting background. So I close this dude, and then here I declare a variable called background or busy, and that would be pygame, and we'll call pygame for any image to load the images. And inside this parenthesis, I will put busy.png, which is the background.png. And you see the background dimension is 320 and 568. And for that purpose, we wanted to make our display this size of 320 and 568. So once we have this image, our next step is like super easy. We can call the display to block transfer. That means you need to transfer some images. And here we will do so, and then the first thing we will provide the image, which is like busy, and the second thing we need to provide that where in the display this image should stay. If you put like 0, 0, that would be the left and top corner, and it will just go there. So for now we'll put 0, 0. And then we will click on this run button, and our game will look much better. So let's have a look and click on this guy, and you see this looks fancier, right? So you got this background, but you need the bird, right, to play this game. And I already got the bird as well. All you need to do is to just maybe copy these two lines. So you have this background, press Ctrl D, and you have a new line, and I will name it as like a bird. And on the right side, instead of busy, you will use this bird.png. And once you got this bird.png, you need to transfer it to the display. So I click on this guy, I press Ctrl D, and instead of background, now I want to put this bird. That's it. So if I click on this run button, now you see bird in the corner, right? And you have this background. So this is something for us. And if we want to put this bird maybe here or there, we can put anywhere. So 0, 0 means in this top and then left corner. If you put like maybe some positive value on the x-axis, it will go from the left side. For example, if I put like instead of 0, I put maybe 20. In that case, you will see it's not in the left corner anymore. It moved little bit. And if you increase the y value, then it will go this way. So y value is 0 here, and if you go downward, it increases. So if I put, for example, like 150, then it will go down 150. You see the bird went down. And if you want even further, like say for example 320 or something like this, then bird goes way down here. This means you can control where your images will go just by putting the right number you want to place it here. So in our first step, we just need to do one more thing. Because if we take our mouse here and try to do something, and after a little while this becomes not responsive, or it doesn't try to close or anything. And to get rid of this problem, you just need to write one extra line. And here you can call the pygame, and you call the event to get any event happening, and it will do some processing, call the OS and do some interesting stuff. But if we just write this line, in that case, this crazy, the loading screen, or if we click or try to close those things, it will not become a unresponsive thing. So this is our fun first step where we got the background and the bird. But in the second step, our goal is to make the bird moving while you would be doing some operation on the keyboard, and that's super easy. So I will see you in the next part. In this part 2 would be have fun to move the bird based on our keyboard control. And you can choose any key on the keyboard, but in my case, I'd be using the upper key and then down key, upward key in the keyboard. And to do so, capturing whenever you are clicking on the up arrow or down arrow, you can do it super easy way. So all you need to do is to declare a variable called keys, and you can call this pygame.key and then get pressed. That means if you press any key on the keyboard, pygame will capture it and it will tell you. And if you want to prove of this, you can just write a if case. For example, if keys, and it has pygame.k, and then if you do this up key, that means whether you are pressing on the upward key. And you can print it here, say like this is kind of like up key pressed, something like this. And you can do the same thing for the down key. And all you need to do, maybe elif or something like this. And if the keys you pressed and it has pygame.k, and this time using the down keyword. And if this is happens, then in that case you may print down key or something like this pressed. So let's give it a test. So I'm very excited to see whether I can capture keyboard presses, right? So I'm clicking on this dude and this is running very good. And if I'm pressing the upward key, you see the up key press. And if I do down key, you see down key. That means if I press like a else other key like a B, C, D, X, Y, Z, it doesn't bother anything, but or the even left or right arrow, it doesn't care. But if I press the down key, it captures the down key. If I press up key, it captures the exactly what I needed. So this first part is done. What I want to actually do is to, whenever I press the downward key, that means I want to change this bird's position, which is in the y-axis. And think about in the y-axis, 0 is the topmost value, and then if you go downward, that means it increases. That means every time you go downward, it increases some values. And we can do same thing. So here our bird position, this is y position, is very fixed. This is like a fixed bird position. What we can do, we can make it a variable. So here we can declare a variable called like bird y, and this bird y is default value, whatever the value we have here, maybe 150. This is the default value. And whenever I press on the downward key, in that case, I will say like this bird y, it has to change. So the new value of bird y would be whatever the previous value plus 6. That means it will go 6 pixel down, something like this. So I click on this and I try to press the down arrow and let's see what happens. So I just press the down arrow here and you see this is not updating. Why this is not updating? Because here we didn't change it. So this is still 150. So this has to take this bird y. And once it is there, now if I click on this guy and I'm pressing the down arrow key, you see boom, it's gone right away. And if it is goes that quickly, we cannot control the game. And we need to tell the game, hey, you need to move a little bit polite and gentle way. And for that purpose, we'll create a clock to watch it, what it is doing. And this clock would be pygame.time, and then we'll create a clock. And inside this while loop, in the last thing, we'll tell the clock and it will tell the tick. That means you need to do 60 tick, and which means that it has to do run by 60 frames per second, something like this. And now if I run this guy and I click on the down arrow, now it goes little bit down. And I can do exactly the same thing if I need to move upward. And for that purpose, when I'm clicking on this up key, here we are kind of using this up key, this is print thing. And instead of this, I can tell the bird y, hey, whenever somebody presses on the up key, you need to decrease the values, because think about it. This is your y-axis, this is the 0 and this is the higher value. If you are going, that means your y value is decreasing. If you go downward, your y value is increasing. That's why when that is has like k down, the key is down, we are increasing the y values, and whenever you want to go upward, we will decrease it. And since we want to give some flavor of gravity, that means if you press the down key, because of gravity will go more, and whenever you want to go up, because of gravity is pulling you down, you will go less. And for that purpose, our bird y value when you are pressing on the up key would be -3. So we'll get that flavor of gravity here. So I'm clicking on this. If I press down, it goes this part. If I go up, it goes little less. You see, down goes faster, up goes slower because of gravity, something like this. So this part, we have some fun things to move the bird by using keyboard. So this was the interesting part. In the next part, we'll have fun to have obstacles. That means we have the pillar poles coming randomly all from the side and trying to smash the bird. So we'd be doing this pillar coming animation, and that would be the fun thing in the next part. So this part, to create the obstacles, this is super easy. All we need to do, draw some rectangle, which is the pole. And we need to think about in a little bit interesting way, because the pole position will change because it doesn't have to be in the same location. So what we can do initially, for example, we can start a pole. So, and for that purpose here, we'll do something like say a pole, or this the pillar, whatever you want to put. Pole width, we will have some width as like a 70 pixels, something like this. And you can declare another variable that called be top pole height, whatever the height, and this would be dynamic. But for now, let's put like 150. That means you have a pole, we have a height. And how you want to draw a rectangle? That's super easy. You can come to inside your while loop and you can tell, hey, Pygame, I need to draw some rectangle. So I need to draw some rectangle, and Pygame will ask you, hey, where do you want to draw it? And you'll tell like, hey, I want to draw on the display. And you'll say like, okay, that's fine, but what would be the color? And you can define some color, and here you can write the color name, or here you can do a variable here that could be like, say, pole color, something like this, and this would be a set, and you start with like a 220, and then it could be like an 85, and this could be 557, something like RGB color mode. And this is your pole color, and here instead of writing it multiple times, you can put like a pole color, and then next thing it would be asking you to put this dimension of the rectangle. And in our case, it would be start from, for example, simplicity, it would be the top left corner, that is 0, 0. So you will start 0 for now and then 0. Then what would be the next corner? The next corner would be the width of the pole. That means in the x-axis, it will come to the pole width, and then it all the way come to this top pole height, whatever the value. That means top pole height. And if we do so, let's go there and then see how does it look like. So we have some kind of pole right here. So this is a fixed height pole. We want something dynamic. That means it becomes uncertainty. It adds randomness, and games becomes fun and challenging. And to do so, you can use some randomness. And here you can import something from random, and which is definitely random. You can say like from random, you need to import a random integer, something like this. And here, instead of fixed 150, you can tell, hey, this height would be some random, like rand integer, and that would be between 100 to 400, something like this. And for that case, if you click on this guy, now you see it's bigger. And if you run it again, now it's something smaller. And if you do run it again, you see this is way bigger. So you will see that this pole is changing because we put some randomness and seriousness. But to create this pole, we just not only need like one pole on the top, we need another one at the bottom. Think about it, this whenever you have this pole top and the bottom one would be, there will be a little bit gap in between. And you can declare a variable here right away. This would be your pole gap. And you can put like 100, 150, whatever the gap you want to put. If you put like 100, this would be a little bit challenging game because it has like a small gap. If you put like a way big, like 400, 500, then it would be wider and that would be not challenging. So based on the value, you will have challenge. But think about your top pole and the bottom pole, the corner, it will start this 0 corner, and its Y position would be whatever your top pole plus the gap. So we can create another rectangle here. I will just press Ctrl D, so it will have another one, and it will go this pole color, but its starting position would be whatever is the top height. The x-axis would be the 0 on the same position, but the y one would be the height of the top pole plus the gap. So I will put here top pole height plus pole gap. That means this is the starting point, and the way it will go all the way down. That means it's width-wise, it would be the pole width, which is fine, but it will go all the way to 568. That is the bottom of your display. So all we need to do here, instead of like a top pole height for the top one, we will put like 568, whatever this. Now, if you run this guy, you will see like, a 2 pole, right? And if you stop this guy and then run again, you see a different height. Now you can see the bird. So I stop this. Now it would be randomly another one. So it would be randomly generating every single time for you. But we don't want our pole to be static because that would not be fun. Rather, it would be starting all the way other side and it would be moving slowly. And that means it is starting, the X position would be something dynamic, and as the game progressing, it would be coming all the way left. And that's super easy actually. This is your pole. So instead of right now your pole X is hard-coded, you can declare a variable very easily here. And you can declare it like a pole X, something like this. And the initial value is all the way right, which is the width of your skin is 320. It will start over there. and every iteration it will change. That means your pole X, the new value would be whatever the previous pole value, because 320 and all the way here is 0. That means every time it's coming from the back to front, its value is decreasing. So the new value would be whatever the old value minus 2, something like this. And here instead of hard-coded 0, you will put this pole X for the top one and the bottom one. So let's run it and let's see whether our pole is moving or it's just lazy and static. But you see, this is moving very nicely and smoothly, but we just have only one pole. It's not coming back. So to bring it back is actually super easy. Now think about it that this is your skin and this is your pole. And if once this is going all the way, that means this is the width of the pole is like 70 and whatever is the pole. And if this is the x-axis, then if it goes all the way, then you need to create it again. So we can easily do it right here. You can say like if pole x is less or equals to minus pole width. So whatever is the pole width, whenever it passes this guy, in that case, you need to set the pole X again. And the new pole X would be whatever our initial value, which was 320. And if you do so, you will see this pole would be coming back again and again. Like you see, it's gone, it's going all the way and then coming back. But we have one small problem. This pole is in the same position. It doesn't change. If we start over, it changes, but the first one is random position and second one is exactly in the same location, and it's not interesting. To make it interesting is super easy. Here, once ever we change the pole, we can say, hey, your top pole height, whatever the height, just recalculate it. That means it would be another random int between 100 to 400. And if you do so, now every time when the pole is completely gone, and then it will start in a random position. It goes there and then random position and then goes there, random position. And let's give it a try. I'm very excited to see with this part 3 whether we have achieved it. So you see, it's the first one, it's going this way, which is good. And second time, it's may or may not be. Let's see the third time. It looks little bit different, but let's see whether we have significant difference. Maybe we'll see one more time. So now it's going down here and maybe it's going right here. So it's changing little bit. If we want to make it change little bit drastically, we can increase the value something like this. Instead of 1 to 400, maybe we want to change this to like a 50 to 450, something like this. And we run this guy and let's see. Now first time it going this way and the second one now way down there, and then you have way up, something like this. That means this guy actually can control the position of the pole coming, and we have some dynamic pole coming. So this is our part 3. In the part 4, we have fun way to detect whether there is some collision happened. That means the bird smashed on the pole or not. So that will be the fun part. I will see you in the next part. This part will have fun. We would be fighting, colliding, we'll be bursting, banging, and that means the collision will happen and we'll have fun to detecting the collision. To do the collision, we need to understand some logic that when actually the collision happens. For example, I am using this is as my bird because it has some tail, and if it is rotates little bit, it can sometimes hit me. But bird, be cool down, don't hit me. You can hit others, but don't hit me. So this is the bird with some tail, but this is the bird. Think about this is bird X and this is bird Y in the vertical way, and this is bird X easy way. And if the pillar, this is my pillar or the pole, and if the pole is here and bird is here, they are not colliding. If it is here, they are not colliding. If it is here, it's not colliding. Whenever it goes here, then they are in collision. That means this pole X, what is the X position of the pole? This has to be in contact to bird back or S, whatever you call. And where is the bird S? It is 50 pixels away from the bird X. In our code right now, we have hard-coded bird X, but we can declare a variable to make it easier to understand. So I'm declaring a variable, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So this will be bird X equals to 20. And here, instead of 20, hard-coded 20, you can use bird X. And here we will write some logic for collision. So I am adding a new line, and maybe I can write a comment here. This would be collision, and inside the collision I will write some condition, and the condition is that this is the bird X and the pole will hit the bird as, ignore the vertical thing right now, we will include this in little later, but think about a horizontal way. It will hit it when the pole x is less than or equals to bird x plus whatever the bird width. So we can write here that pole x, if it is less than or equals to, because this is the x-axis, this is the lesser values, and that would be whatever your bird x plus 50. 50 is the width of the bird, and that's how this will hit the back of the bird. So we detected this part of the collision, but it will not collide if it goes away this. But if it's this position, it's still colliding or banging or hitting something like this. That means there is only reason it will collide, this bird will collide the pole if it's here and then it's in between here and here. But if it goes down, now it's not colliding anymore. And this position, what is this? This is the bird x. This bird x has to be inside this pole width. This is pole x, this is the pole width. So bird x has to be less than this pole x plus the width. So if you understand this logic, then you will understand this bird would be inside the pole, something like this. So in this case, we will put like a bird x, it has to less or equals to whatever is our pole x plus pole width, whatever the pole width we have. And if you understand this logic, you can just print right now that bird and write inside bird inside the pole. Let's see whether this is happening. So I close this dude, I run this guy, and you see bird, you see inside the pole, and if it's outside, it's not saying anything. Now it's inside. It's not detecting the vertical thing. We are not talking about the vertical part yet, but the horizontal way, whenever the pole crosses the bird, you see it's detecting that bird is at least horizontally hitting the pole. We need to account the vertical gap as well. Think about where the bird is safe. If the pole is here, bird is here, it's not safe because it's hitting. But if the bird y is even more than whatever is the pole height, then it's safe. At least it's not hitting this guy. So when it would be hitting this guy? When the bird y is less than this pole height. So we can easily detect that part as well. So here we can declare inside another logic. So whenever we are inside this guy, now we are detecting the vertical collision. So if whatever the bird y is less than or equals to top pole height, and that means we can tell nicely that print that it's hitting the, or we can just write shortly like a top pole, something like this. And now if I run this guy, you see, if I put down, it says like a bird inside the pole, but not talking anything about top pole. But if I put all the way down, it says like, you see the top pole there. Now it will say the top pole there. That means if you are hitting the top pole, whenever this bird height is less than the height of the pole, it's hitting the top pole. And if I put down, way down there, it's not saying the top pole. It's just saying bird inside the pole. So I close this dude. Maybe I get rid of this line. So we got detection when it's hitting the top. But what happens if it is the bottom? When it will hit the bottom, you think about this is the top and you have a gap and this bottom. That means bird y has to be below whatever the top height plus the gap. Because top is the top one, and if it is the gap, it's safer. But underneath it, that means the top height plus gap, and if the bird y is more than top height and the gap, then it would be hitting the bottom anyway. So you can write that logic separately first, and you can write like if bird y is greater than or equals to whatever the top pole height plus the pole gap. And then inside it, you can write something very simple like a bottom pole. And now let's test it. Let's see whether we can detect the top or bottom. So right now I am in the middle, nothing is happening. Now I should hit the bottom pole. You see the bottom pole, and I also can hit the bottom pole. Maybe I go little up in the safe zone, so I'm not hitting anybody. But if I go little up, I will be hitting the top pole. That means we are able to detect the collision, and even we can pretty much play the game as well, unless we don't have the score yet, but at least we can play the game. And this is actually a little bit fun, and you see that you are not hitting, but if you go little bit up or you cannot go up, then this is safe. But if you stay there, you'd be hitting by the top 4. So we were able to detect the collision and then also indicate this collision is happened. And you can write this logic. It doesn't have to be this case because bird can either hit the top pole or the bottom pole. And you can write these two logic at the same time. So here, to make it simplicity, you can say, take out all these and say like or. So either hit the top or the bottom, and you can say like collision happens, something like the collision, and you can say collision happens, bye bye bird, or bye bye bird baby, something like this. And you can say goodbye or goodbye bird baby, something like this. And this is the collision happens. So if you think about the logic is not that bad. So right now, no collision happens. This is safe. And you are a little bit safe here. So you can go this way, you can play this way. But if you want to hit this, something like this, you see some collision happen, bye bye bird baby or whatever this. So this is the part 4, and in the part 5 we will have a score, so that we will be seeing the actual score of the game. And in the 6th part we will have crazy fun. In this part we will be adding a score so that you can visually see that how well you are doing in this game. And to do so, you just need very simple steps. First, you need to track the score, right? And score usually starts with 0. So you declare a variable called score, and this is 0. And how you will gain some point? Whenever you can successfully pass some obstacles. That means you didn't have any collision, you pass it. In that case, you will gain some point. And you can put any number. And here we know that this is where you passed the obstacle. It went all this other side. And here you can say like whenever you passed it, you can increase the score, and the new value of the score would be whatever the previous value plus 20, something like this. And when you will lose the score, and in this case, when some collision happens. And here you can say like whenever some collision happens, in that case, your score will decrease. And the new value of the score, if some collision happens, for every pixel collision, you will reduce by 5. That means it will go way down. And here you can actually, if you want to score, see the score, you can see the score here too. For simplicity, but we will add the score in our display as well. Let's run this game and then see whether we can lose some point for collision. So in the first, I had some collision. I already lost like 300 points. Another maybe like a 600 points I'm losing. And if I try to save myself here, something like this, in that case, I gain some point. Here I gain some point. And in this case, I'm gaining some point. But if I hit this, and I would be banging, and then lose like 1100 points. But this would be fun if you see the score here. And displaying the score is actually super easy. You just need to do a few lines of code. Here, we can use something called like a text or something like this. And we can call the Pygame to use the font. And inside the font, we can pass like any kind of font file that we might have. Or we can just put like a none. That means you want Pygame to use whatever he wants to use. And you can display the score somewhere. For example, here we want to display the score, and for this purpose, all we can need to do is to some variable like score text, and this would be, you will call the whatever the text you have, and you will be rendering over there, and you can render few things. And the first one would be your F string, right? Your favorite is F string, and you declare a score, and this could be your dynamic score, the value. And then you need to pass some parameter, what is entailized, whether you want to some smooth text or something like this, and you said just true. And the second one, you need to provide the color of the text. Here the color could be white or something, and if you want to make it white, this would be 255, 255, all three numbers. And the last thing, you need to tell the display, hey display, you need to do some block transfer, and in this case, this would be your score text, and where you want to put this top left corner, and we should be our 0, 0. And if you do so and run this guy, you'll see initially our score is 0. Try to save it. We got some score 20, and then we are playing this game. We should got 40, and then we are playing again. We got 60. Wow, try harder, and we get another 20. Try harder. We got 80, and then we go here. We got 100. Oh wow, we got a century. Okay, stay here to make some score and try harder to stay, and we got like 160. Wow, this is good. Try harder. Okay, we make it barely, and then come here, we made this one 200. Wow, we are rocking this game and something like this. And if we try to squeeze here, and then we lost pretty much everything we got, right? So we need to make some cool Python hack to get like automatic score. Otherwise, if we need to itch a little bit, we lose like hundreds of points, and this is very sad. So as a Python enthusiast, we need to hack it, and that's hack fun part would be happen our part 6. So this is the coolest part of this video, where we'd be hacking the Flappy Bird game to get unlimited score. And not only unlimited score, but also crazy fast scoring. So that's actually super easy. You just need to think about a programmer and then modify few things, and then you would be amazing scorer in this Flappy Bird game. Think about the game. This is very sad number. We are almost crossing like 10,000 negative numbers very soon. But what is actually happening here? If the bird somehow can go to in between the gap, then it would survive and get a positive score. If it doesn't, then it will get this kind of negative score and very heartbreaking for us. So how we can shift the bird? Think about this is the code in your while loop. Inside it, whenever the pole passes the screen, in that case we set the new gap. That means we are setting the top pole height. If our bird position, the vertical position of the bird, which is like bird Y, can be little less the top height, then it would be safe. Doesn't matter whether bird top pole height is coming this or this. If we can detect wherever is the position of this pole, the height of this guy, and we place the bird certain little down here, and that means if it goes there, we put here. If it goes there, there. It goes there, there. This there. That means we'll get like always in the safer zone of the game. So let's give it that try. So here dynamically we say like a bird Y position. It would be whatever the top pole height, this random number generated, and we increase maybe 20, something like this. In that case, bird would be, if you're changing the pole, it will just go there. Let's give it a shot and let's see whether this is working for us or we might mess it. So right now we have like saddening, like almost a 15,000 negative number. We will take a revenge very soon. So I stop this guy, I run this guy, and the first one maybe I hit it, but second one you see the bird little bit jumped. So we got some positive. Second one it jumped. And then you see third one, it knows where it is going and it's jumping on that position. It's jumping. That means we hacked little bit, but we can do little bit better because it's also some negative number. That means we are starting in the negative. You see, when we start, it hits and we get bunch of negative. So we can do better definitely. Here, you look into this, the bird Y, the initial value, this is fixed 150. What if we depend on this top pole height? So if you run this guy, it's always fixed 150 and it gets smashed in the beginning on its face. And then it learns and then goes there. But we want to be right from the very beginning so that we don't lose any single points. And to do so, here we can just say instead of bird Y hard-coded 150, this would be whatever the top pole height plus 20, something like this. And if we do so, now from the beginning, you see, it doesn't matter where the pole, it goes there. Now it gains 20, it gains another 20, another 20, and it will be keep gaining. And if you don't touch anything, even don't touch the keyboard, or even you change, doesn't matter, it will be changing in the next iteration. So, and then it will be placed itself in the right position to keep it safer. So think about it that this way we can play the game, but we want to have more fun. We want to do it very, very quickly. So if we can make the pole moving little faster, then we would be gaining a score very quickly. And we can easily do this because if you look into here, this is the speed of the pole. The way a pole is moving is to like every iteration you are just moving like 2 pixels. That's why it's going like that smoothly and that slowly too. So what if you just change this to 20? What will happen? The pole will go a little bit faster. You see it goes faster and you're gaining the scores, right? That means you are gaining a lot of score very quickly. But since we can make it faster, we can make it even faster. What if instead of just like a 20 pixel each time, we just make it maybe like 100? that means it would be 5 times even faster. Let's see that we are gaining like way faster. You see, this is like a very crazy, but since the bird is placing in the right place every time, you are able to skip the pole gap. It doesn't matter how fast it is, it can still skip. So this is blazing fast, but you can make it even faster, my dear friend. So this is the one you are gaining something like you already got like 5,000, 6,000 points very quick. That means you are hacking the Flappy Bird game, but we want to hack even more. That means let's hit 10,000 marks to feel a little bit happier, because one point of time I was hitting minus negative 15,000. So let's get 15,000, feel happier, then we'll make it even faster. So we are very close to 12,000. Soon we'll hit 15,000. This exciting faster Flappy Bird hacking game. And this is really fun watching for me to gain all this point very nicely. But I want it way faster. So let's make it maybe like a 300, something like this. And if you do see, this is like way faster. You see like this kind of like quickly coming, and I'm scoring so much point. And even if you want it like even faster, you can obviously can do so as well. Everything is yours. Maybe you want it like 500, something like this, and you would not be able to see the pole, but you'd be able to see the bird is moving according to the pole, and you are gaining scores, unlimited scores you want. So this is the fun part of this project, where you can hack the Flappy Bird code and you can gain like 60,000 or 70,000 or 100,000 points in few minutes. So this is very much fulfilling to a developer once he can build some kind of hack thing. If you watch this video until this point and you liked whatever we are adding in this channel, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, write some fancy comment below. And if you got stuck any point of this video, I have a Discord server link in the description. You can go there. We have tons of cool grandkids in our Discord server to help you if you get stuck any point of this game. And if you want to stay connected with our grandma wants you to see you inside our app. And if you are using a Android phone, you can definitely go to the Play Store and find this amazing app called Programming Hero. And if you are a rich dude using iPhone, you can also go to the App Store and find this amazing app called Programming Hero. Grandma is just sitting inside the app. If you go there, grandma will hug you over there. So if you want hug, you want love, you definitely need this app. And always stay tuned and stay connected in our Discord server. Your grandma, and I will see you in the next video.